Well, hello, everyone out there. Thanks for joining. We are going to talk about durable financial power of attorney. Super exciting, right? So basically, a durable financial power of attorney is a document that gives somebody on your behalf the legal right to contract on your behalf or to take care of your financial affairs. So one thing that you want to think about is who you choose. Definitely somebody that you trust, right? Some of the other issues that you think about when you're choosing someone are their age in relation to your age, because a durable financial power of attorney is drafted such that during your lifetime, whether you are alive and well or alive but incapacitated, that person can take care of your affairs for you. So sometimes we have them where somebody's going out of town and they have a real estate closing. So they can do a limited power of attorney. But most of the time we do a durable financial power of attorney that is a kind of all-encompassing one. And hi, Jill. And again, thanks for joining. I will try to kind of scroll through chats in a minute once we get through the content part of this. So with a durable financial power of attorney, you generally choose your spouse first if you're married. If you are not, it can really be anybody who's over 18 years of age and of sound mind. So nobody that has been deemed incapacitated themselves. So when you are choosing someone, again, you want to look at their age in relation to your age. You want to have somebody that is more likely to still be alive and not incapacitated themselves when you're choosing them to be in charge of your finances. The other thing is you got to have somebody that you trust with knowing your financial condition, because if at any given point in time you're out of town and something happens, or you become incapacitated, even if it's for a short period of time, maybe there's a medical issue, a stroke or something like that, you got to have somebody that you have told where your accounts are, what your passwords are, that sort of thing, or where to find those. Another thing to think about, which is not as important in this day and age, but the physical proximity to you. So if you're choosing a power of attorney and you're in Michigan and they're in Alaska, might be a bit of a challenge, because if it's a day-to-day banking situation where they're going to now have your mail forwarded to them, that's going to take some time with the postal service. And then when they get the mail, they need to, it's like pay bills, that sort of thing. If there's an issue at the bank and there's not a local branch in Alaska for the bank that you have in Michigan, it can cause an issue. All right. The other thing to think about in durable financial power of attorneys are how much power you want to give the person. So like I said before, there are versions of it where it's a limited power of attorney for one transaction. So say it's for that closing on a real estate deal or something like that. But the more broad ones, you can also tailor to suit your needs. Most of mine include very broad ability for your power of attorney to act on your behalf. They also call them an attorney in fact, but it doesn't mean that you're an attorney. And that's where some people get a little confused, and they, for their parents, try to act as their attorney for like a landlord tenant. So you may have seen some landlord tenant cases where the child comes in and says, well, I'm their attorney in fact. Yeah, but you're not an attorney, so you can't represent them at this proceeding with them still there. It's either them or it's you. And if they want an attorney, they have to then go get a licensed attorney from the state of Michigan. When you're choosing the clause, the number of clauses or the extent of the clauses that you're putting in, giving these powers to people, you can make it where it springs into effect only upon a showing of incapacitation of the person, or you can have it where it is an immediate effect, where from the day that they sign it, you're able to act on their behalf. Again, very personal decision on how you want to do that. If we have somebody who is naming their spouse and there's no marital issues or anything like that, most of the time it's done as an immediate effect. So that way, if your spouse is out of town and you need to do something with your bank account or whatever, you can sign on behalf of your spouse. If you are using somebody who is a friend or maybe a more distant relative, and this happens a lot of times when we have an older individual who doesn't have any direct, close, immediate family members that are still there, maybe they're using a friend, or they're using a great nephew or great niece that they're not particularly close with, but they want to have something in place so that the court doesn't order a conservatorship of a professional, where it costs a lot of money to have a professional conservator ordered by the court. Um, they may choose to put it as a springing effect, meaning that the great nephew or great niece or friend, whoever it is, can't go behind their back and get a credit card or do something with their bank account if the individual is still with it enough to make their own financial decisions. Now, that being said, it puts your power of attorney in the position where they can't do anything unless you are deemed incapacitated. So that would be either a court order finding that you're incapacitated, or two doctors that are licensed have independently examined you and determined that for some demonstrable reason, whether it's medical or physical, mental health, whatever, that you're not able to make rational, prudent decisions on your own financial behalf. If that happens, they fill out those two forms, then your power of attorney can step in and manage your finances. The other thing somebody's brought up, Simon, thank you, that you want to do this power of attorney while you're young and healthy enough to name somebody, while your parents are young and healthy enough to name somebody. We have had a lot of clients over the years that don't execute this document. And I mean, to be fair, this document generally $75, $100, maybe $150 to get it drafted, depending on what area you're in. But it saves so much headache and heartache and money in the long run. Then we'll talk about what happens if you don't have a financial attorney in place. So you want to encourage your parents or your aunts or uncles that are getting up there in age that it's a really great insurance policy for yourself to execute this while you've got the chance to, and you get to pick who is in charge and what order they're in charge. So we do have sometimes where if it's sibling groups, for example, if we don't put language in there that specifies a pecking order, I guess to use a term that most people understand, if there's a pecking order that says, okay, child A, child B, then child C, if we don't put specific information that, okay, child B cannot make decisions unless child A is incapacitated themselves, or they have deceased, or they are unable to act and or unwilling to act, and sign an affidavit acknowledging that they're unable or unwilling to act, then that next child is in. We had situations in the past where if we didn't have that limiting language, child C or child B would kind of usurp the authority and go do something, and then child A would go and undo it, and they just kind of went back and forth while their poor parents' money is just being depleted. So definitely important to choose your order wisely and consider putting those limitations in about who can act and when. Another consideration would be, again, how broad of abilities you're giving them. You want to give them at least the banking power, right? Like to write checks and to cash your checks and that sort of thing. But there's also some of my clients who I encourage very highly to put broad ability to change beneficiaries of accounts, to change payout options or rollover options for your IRAs or investments. Because if your parent or spouse becomes incapacitated and you don't have that specific language in there that gives you the ability to change those things, if there's a change in the tax law that makes it way more advantageous to have, say, your kids as the beneficiaries instead of you as the spouse or something like that, then they can't change it without having a court order, which is kind of difficult to get when you're dealing with estates and trusts. So if you put that language in there that gives your designated written financial power of attorney the ability to make those changes, the language I put in says, for the purpose of effectuating your intended distribution plan through your estate or your trust, meaning that your kid can't go in and, as power of attorney, say, I want to change this and now I want my spouse, who was not in the estate plan, to get that money. you can't do that. It's only for the purpose of carrying out the your parent or whoever is the principal, carrying out their wishes. Thank you, Paul, for the super chat. Very sweet of you. So with that, though, if you another issue that comes up when people don't have power of attorney is that if you own real estate together and your spouse becomes incapacitated, like Brigitte says, there was an issue, the husband, died suddenly of a stroke. If they wouldn't have died, but he remained alive but incapacitated, and you decide, look, I can't take care of this house. Like for my husband, he's like, I don't want to take care of this house and these goats and all this and that. I want to sell, but Debbie is incapacitated and doesn't have the ability to physically make a decision and sign the paperwork and that sort of thing. His option would be to have to go to the probate court in the county where we live and petition to be the guardian and conservator, guardian for healthcare decisions and living conditions. The conservator is for the financial decisions. So just the filing fee in Michigan is $175 for that. So more than what most attorneys charge you to draft the power of attorney. Then there's also like a $12 certified copy fee, and your attorney fees are going to be $600, $1,000. It really depends on what part of the state you're in. And all of this is just so that you can sell your own house, which is kind of crazy. Like, hey, it's my spouse. But there is no next of kin option with a durable financial power of attorney. Medical, if you don't do a medical power of attorney and you do have next of kin or kids or whatever, yeah, there's usually some wiggle room there. But for finances, there's not any wiggle room. It's either you have a financial power of attorney that is appropriately drawn and is effective, or you go to the court and get a court order. With the power of attorney, it's not terribly difficult. I mean, most of the forms are pretty much the same again, other than putting in the number of people and the order that they're in and how much the power you're giving them and when that power springs into action. But then it's, 2 witnesses, notarized. In Michigan, it changed a few years ago where instead of just you as the principal executing this document and saying, okay, these 3 people are in charge if something happens to me, now those 3 people have to sign a document, an acknowledgement that they've been named and that they understand the laws surrounding these issues, so that they can't say, well, I didn't know that if I went and got a credit card, that if I spent it on a vacation to go to Hawaii with my friend, that, my uncle wouldn't be happy about that. Like, yeah, no, they're not happy about that. You have a fiduciary duty to the principal. You're their agent. You are their banker. So you have to act on their best financial behalf. And if you don't, you could be criminally liable. So it's not to scare people away from being that durable power of attorney, but it's there to protect both sides. So like in Michigan, the statute lays out exactly what has to be in there, but I think it's A through H. You have to keep the principal informed about what you're doing. You have to follow their reasonable instructions. If they ask you to do something, you have to keep very good records of what you're doing. And if you make a decision that was maybe not the best choice, but it was a rational or prudent decision, it wasn't totally off the wall, you'll be protected as that power of attorney if things go south. So if you make a bad investment, you cash out something where now there's a penalty, but you needed that money because there's bills that need to be paid for the principal and there's no cash flow, you're not going to be criminally prosecuted for those types of decisions. And again, that's where keeping really good records is going to protect you. Something else that was raised with that, but now I can't remember. Anyway, well, I'm going to scroll through and see if we've got any comments that have questions in them that I can answer. Hi, Prestonick, Iowa Hank. Simon, I saw you a few times in here. And Secret Squirrel. Every time you're getting in bed, you are just on the wrong time zone for my stuff. Hello, Bob and Evan. Mark. There's Paul. MG. And Jill, Tampa John, is it legal booby trap? Is it legal to booby trap a catalytic converter to catch a thief asking for a friend? It depends on what kind of booby trap you're making. Like, you can't injure somebody. Like the old case where the people set up like a gun to go off if somebody trespassed into their property. You can't do that. But if you're saying a booby trap, like you're not enticing them and saying, hey, come over and you can take this catalytic converter, but then you record them doing it and then claim that it's stolen. You can't do that. So if you're just saying, like, look, I have a surveillance camera up and my car is sitting in the driveway and I think that there's these thefts going on in the neighborhood, I don't know. I guess it depends on what kind of booby trap. All right. Linda Lee. Is this available in Canada? Yeah, I mean, I would presume this is a fairly common and what I think is the most important estate planning document, even though it's for when you're alive, because it ceases upon death. So once the agent, who has been acting on behalf, if they get notice or they know or should know that the principal has deceased, they have to cease acting on their behalf. So you can't use this to go and after your mom has died, use the power of attorney to clean out her bank account or something like that. The power of attorney ceases to be available upon the death of the principal. It can also be revoked. I guess you could make an irrevocable one, but most of them are revocable. They're able to be amended at any time. So if the people that you choose end up being a bad pick, or they predecease you, or you just change your mind because, people's lives change and their level of ability to commit to doing this for you can change over the years. You can amend those at any time or revoke them at any time. Okay, let's see. Thank you, Walter, for your kind words. Okay, let's see. Do you have any members who play football for Nottingham Forest? No. I mean, aren't we all related in the grand scheme of things? But none that I know of. Okay. And Simon, yes, thank you for your comment, because it is super important to get these set up before mental deterioration sets in. That is important, though, to note that there's a difference in Michigan anyway between having the ability to name somebody and having that cognitive thought process to pick who you want to be in charge or where you want your stuff to go, versus being able to have enough business acumen to enter into contracts and not put yourself in a bad financial position. So it's a lower standard to say, okay, does this person know what items they have and who their relatives are and where they want their stuff to go? And for reasons best known to themselves, it doesn't have to be that it goes along what we call the typical survivorship, where it's like to your spouse first, kids second, grandkids third, whatever. As long as the person has a reasonable cognitive ability to understand the consequences of the decisions they're making, they are able to name who they want to be in charge and where they want their stuff to go. Hello, SAPC upgrades. You're not too late to the party, but you made it. Nimrod, nice to see you. Kim, set up a trust and 4 to 5 have to agree. Yes, I mean, that's a good way to do it too. I have a whole thing on trusts that's on the page if you're interested in kind of a more in-depth with that. Okay, Debbie Doolittle. I know, like Dr. Doolittle, my little animals. Oh, update. The last 2 baby lambs were born and they were a girl and a boy. So still need some names for all these little goobers, but I can't name them all because my niece and nephew are also going to be taking some to the fairs. So I'm sure the kids probably want to name them themselves, but I can certainly forward any suggestions that you guys have. And no baby goats yet, but still 3 pregnant moms, maybe 4, depending on if the one at my mom's house got pregnant as well. So we shall see. Okay, let's see. I get SSDI. Can I get someone to get the money off my card, cash my check? Yeah, so SSDI and SSI, a little bit different because you can sometimes name a payee, which is without having to go through a conservatorship through the court and without having to have a specific power of attorney. That payee is specific to the Social Security Administration. So that is one way to avoid losing access to the funds as they come in. Okay. Does it have to be done via lawyers? Can you do it yourself? So this is difficult because obviously, like, I'm pretty cheap about things. I like to do things myself. But at some point, you get what you pay for. And because there are so many different nuances with these documents, if you simply go on LegalZoom or I have no idea, like people used to go to Office Depot or Staples or something and like buy a form for it, it can't possibly cover the type of questions that you would have about, okay, what clauses do I want in there? Which ones don't I want in there? So that's where getting solid legal advice, again, in Michigan, I would say you're paying between $75 to $150. You each have to have your own. If it's a husband and wife, you can't do like, okay, we both say this. You each have to have your own durable financial power of attorney. But again, it's way cheaper than even the filing fee of $175 for having to file a conservatorship, plus the headache that comes along with having to do that and all the extra costs. Okay. Simon, don't be writing POA in crayons. That wouldn't probably be the best. Because you got to remember, these are legal documents that you don't want a bank looking at 5 years down the road when now you're incapacitated and your kid's trying to use it. And they're like, there's misspellings or there's like blanks in here that shouldn't be blank. So definitely dangerous. Hello, Captain Cactus. Dale, nice to see you in here. How long have I been in Zoom? I've been in Zoom Core, I feel like half my life, but now just since, was it a year ago? Everything has gone really fast. Okay. Tampa John, some merch. Oh gosh, I could have like a whole like Brady Bunch squares of all my weird faces probably. The Great Gemini, I think that's how it is. You're taking a practice bar exam. Oh, bless you. That's rough. How close are they to the actual? Depends on what state you're in, I guess. I would say that the Michigan multi-state portion of the bar exam, which is all multiple choice questions, I think that any of those bar preps or practices would be very similar. The difficult part is a practice exam on the written portion. Depends on like who's grading it. And I don't know, there's not a great way to practice that other than making sure you have at least a basic grasp of all of the areas of law that may be covered on the written portion. But good luck. I'm pulling for you. Hello, Arto. Finland. Very nice. Get a glitter bomb. Yeah. I mean, I think that'll be fun. Glitter. Ugh, just everywhere. Except you have to clean it up when they leave because it'll still be on your porch. I don't really want that glitter all over. What was the disturbance in court? I wasn't present for it, and I probably can't say much about it because I'm sure there's going to be something requested. So you'll just have to tune in to see. All right. Captain Cactus. Check out Kevin Bacon on Facebook. He sings and plays his guitar. I mean, I could sing to my goats, I guess. I know Kevin Bacon had goats. Now I'm curious, like, what kind of goats he has. Where does he keep them? What does he do with them? Okay. I don't know why I don't have a bell to ring. People keep asking about subscribing and getting notifications. I think when I set up my page initially, I didn't know what I was doing. And I said for kids because I didn't want like, creepy stuff on it or something. But then I guess when I set it up for kids, it made it so that you can't have notifications turned on. So if somebody's got a suggestion about how to change that, I have tried to look through most of these settings and still have not been successful of changing it. I changed my page to be not set for kids, which just makes it sound really wrong. It's kid friendly. I think pretty kid friendly. Okay. But yeah, if you could like and subscribe, maybe share, that'd be cool too. Appreciate it. Should spay and neuter laws be mandatory? That's a tough one. I come from a background of animal control. My dad was the director of animal control in the county for, I think, 25 years when I was growing up. So I spent a lot of time in the dog pound after school, hanging out, helping, seeing, the animals. And it is heartbreaking to see how many animals get just abandoned. And we have it where I'm sure if you've been watching 3B, you've seen some cases of animal cruelty, animal abandonment. And those are really crappy cases to have to deal with. Animals can't speak for themselves. It's not their fault that people move or get evicted or whatever, but you can't just leave them there without food and shelter. And if you take the responsibility for having an animal, unless you're going to be breeding it, I think that there should be a situation where you're required to get it spayed or neutered, because animals get loose, right? Like even our little barn cats, we get them fixed when they're of age and hope to keep down the population. In Colon, we had kind of a situation with cats a few years ago, just overpopulated with stray cats, and they were feral cats. Unfortunately, they're not like the most adoptable. So I also recognize that spaying and neutering is expensive, but we have some programs around here that do assist with the cost of it. One of the funded agencies for United Way is the Animal Rescue Fund, I believe, if you look on their website. But it's a local group that is for animal welfare, and they really try to help people be able to afford the animals that they have and keep down the overpopulation of them. But there's no mandatory spay or neuter on my goats, okay? So I am a responsible goat owner and try to keep them from having underage goat pregnancies. Okay, if a trustee estranged of a family trust passed away, who is responsible for notifying the other trustees? That's an interesting question, because normally there's only one trustee and then there's like an order of backups. So as a trustee of a trust, you are in a fiduciary capacity. You have just like a third-party banker, you have to act in the best interest of the beneficiaries of the trust, and you have to keep the beneficiaries reasonably informed about what is going on. So if the trustee passes away, somebody has to notify. It would probably be like the trustee's spouse or whatever. I don't know. I guess if they were like a total hermit and lived by themselves and nobody knew that they passed away, there should be at least a yearly check-in of, hey, here's what the trust has, here's where we're at with distributions, that sort of thing. And if the trustee is not doing that, if there is a second named trustee, then that person, or a backup, or third named, whatever, they would then be able to step in and resume duties where the other trustee left off. If there's not a backup name, like you've made it to the end of the line and there's none, or the trustee is not acting in the best interest of the beneficiaries, there are ways that you can petition the probate court. Again, this is all Michigan related, but petition the probate court to have that trustee removed or have the trustee ordered to comply with the Michigan Trust Code. Thanks, Walter, about the 2 new lambs. Very excited. They're super cute. My mom sent pictures today, and I would like fighting nerves to drive over there and look at them. But my niece has a basketball game in Colon, so I'm going to try to get over there for that. Larry, Daryl, and Daryl. This is Daryl, my other brother, Daryl. That would get way too confusing, but thank you, David. It was a good suggestion. Paul, how and when did I get into law, and did I explore any other careers beforehand? Yes, I did. So funny story. I don't exactly remember when I started thinking about the legal field, but apparently, according to my 5th grade letter to myself that we all had to write in maybe it's 6th grade and you open it your senior year, I mentioned being an attorney, which is funny because we have 0 attorneys in my family, my husband's stepdad obviously was an attorney and now is judge, but in my family there was 0 attorneys. I really didn't have any, you know, experience with it other than I really liked Law and Order as a TV show, that sort of thing. So I guess that's probably what influenced me. But I had kind of put that on like the back burner, I guess, because I didn't think about it through when I was in high school. I took classes that were more business related, communications. They call it business services and technology, which was a career technical education course where it's like secretarial work, working with computers, business management, that sort of thing. So when I graduated high school, I went to Western Michigan University and the Hayworth School of Business. And I realized I really didn't like business school. I don't know. It was very oh my gosh, I can't even talk. The statistics course killed me. That and the philosophy class, not my jam. So after that, I think I did a year in the business school and I realized I really don't like this. And I started kind of looking at what are my options? Where am I going to be able to transfer this, program? Because once you start in the College of Business, then if you're going to switch to say medicine or something, not everything is going to transfer, not everything. And I didn't want to pay for more classes because again, I'm kind of cheap. But I then decided that communications would be a good fit because I was thinking maybe psychology, maybe social work, that sort of thing. So doing a communications degree, I was also thinking broadcasting, like news or radio. I had done some little things in high school, and shortly thereafter, I recorded some radio ads for animal control, funny enough, for reminding people to purchase their licenses for their dogs. And I really liked it. That was fun. So I went into communications and I took some social work classes, and psychology was my minor. So once I did all of that and I graduated, I started talking kind of seriously with my father-in-law, my husband's stepdad, and he assured me that if I wanted to practice law, he would support me in doing that. I could work for him to kind of learn the ropes and then work with him after. And it would be a good succession plan for him because he's obviously a generation above me in his career. So I decided I would talk to my broadcasting professor, which was my last semester of school. And I talked to her and said, I'm just kind of torn. I don't know what I want to do. I could potentially go to law school, and I have this opportunity with my father. Well, at that point, it was my boyfriend's stepdad. But we were pretty serious. And then my other option is I look for a broadcasting job. And she looked at me and said, if you get the chance to go to law school, do it. If you don't want to move to wherever, some small town, this is an opportunity that you would have. And, if law school doesn't work out, you can always go back and try broadcasting. So with that, I decided I would take the LSAT. And I don't think I've been more anxiety ridden in my life than having to drive up and take that exam because I had no clue what I was doing. I bought a book from Barnes and Noble at that time. Like we didn't have a lot of online options to prep for things, but I got my book from Barnes and Noble, practice for the LSAT and took some practice questions and I did okay. But I thought, well, what do I got to lose, right? So took the LSAT, actually did well on it. And with my LSAT score combined with some weird formula with your undergrad GPA, I was able to get a 75% scholarship to Cooley Law School. And that was where my husband's stepdad had gone. So I was feeling good about that. Like I had kind of a feel for it. They were opening a Grand Rapids campus. And at that time I lived in Kalamazoo, so it would be a short drive. So it all just kind of fell into place. So then came down to Colon and here we are. Thank you for the donation, Tom. That's very sweet of you. Okay, I kind of got off on my stuff here. Let me scroll down and see what I got. Sherry Lewis. I love watching your animals. And I watched. Oh, wait, isn't Sherry Lewis like the name of Lamb Chops owner? I see you, Sherry. See what you did there. Okay. Hey, Wheels. Oh, you can do it online? I didn't know that. It's a good deal. Okay. Default user. I mean, I really wish I had like real names for all. You guys know my real name. I'll get to know your real names. Okay. The little one climbing up on. Yeah, I know. That was so stinking cute. They're adorable. So goat yoga. There was a group that started goat yoga somewhere around here. I have not gone to an official one, but we did do a form of goat yoga with our baby goats last year after my friend's birthday. We let the goats like climb on our backs while we were doing yoga poses, and it was pretty funny. But I'm not really sure how relaxing that necessarily is. Plus, they like get up right in your face, and I mean, their hoofs are dirty. I love my animals, but I don't want their dirty hoof all over me. Um, so I don't know. I don't know how I feel about goat yoga, but I love playing with baby goats. Hello, Gumpa Bill. Ryan, nice to see you. And Lightfoot. Okay, calendar of Debbie's expressions. I don't think that would raise too much money, but maybe we'll put that in a list of ideas. Saw a video of a goat that adopted kittens. That's so cute. I love a good goat video. Lewis, I need advice for an older couple without family or friends to administer an estate. So that one is interesting because there's a lot more people in that situation these days. I think maybe like people are not having as many children, or there's something that occurs where their children don't outlive them. There are professional people and professional companies that do act as a conservator or a guardian or a trustee or the executor of your estate. It's going to cost money, of course. A lot of banks have a trust department where they try to kind of sell you on that, and it's a wide range of fees that go with that. So you definitely want to do your homework, but check with your own local bank if there's a particular bank that you use that you're comfortable with. There's also, we have just kind of companies that do it. There's a couple in Southwest Michigan that, the other thing is like, I want to say like Edward Jones and those types of investment companies often have a trust department where they have people that can be named. I've told my sisters and my mom, like, you guys should just be guardian and conservators for people, especially my siblings that have, and my mom that has a nursing background, to be a patient advocate medical power of attorney for someone. It does help to have someone that has that medical background so that when they look at what your chart says and make decisions based on what your wishes are, they have a good knowledge base to work off of. Oh, Ryan, I wasn't going to say that because I thought maybe it was inappropriate, but now that you wrote it, I'll just say, because you said it. Glitter is the herpes of the craft world. Once you have it, you have it forever. Yeah, there's glitter everywhere. But I have a daughter, so there's glitter at our house. Oh, next Glen Serial reaction vid. I haven't even thought about him in a while, so it's kind of peaceful. Kevin Bacon has a fair amount of land now. Should we compare acreage? Get him on here. It's like, what, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon? One of you must know him or be related to him or something. Steve, when someone is banned from Walmart, is it one store, both stores in the county, or all Walmarts in the U.S.? Somebody asked us the other day. I thought I answered the comment, but basically, I think it depends on how the judge words it. Even if the person is banned from all Walmarts everywhere, it's a matter of Walmart having that information available to their associates, however many associates there are, and knowing when the person goes in. I feel like a lot of times it's more so that extra level of protection that if they do get caught in there, and God forbid they're stealing again from there, we can add that additional charge of criminal trespass. But criminal trespass is only a 30-day maximum misdemeanor. Like literally the most you could get is 30 days. Whereas most misdemeanors like retail fraud are 93-day maximums. So it's not the worst punishment ever, but it does give the judge a little more leeway. Like, hey, we told you not to go there, and then you went there and stole again. So maybe you need to serve more time. All right, MG has the bell turned on. So there you go, guys. It's possible. And SAPC upgrades does. Glitter bombs, tracker tags. It's crazy what people will go to these days to steal from other people. You cannot adopt a pet. There is something about that. Gosh, my dad's been out of animal control for a minute now, but I believe that you have to pay like a spay or neuter deposit, maybe, which is quite significant. And then you can get that deposit back, I want to say, if you bring back proof that you had it taken care of. Okay. And Tom, I'm glad that you made it. Okay. Dale, it's very important that you take care of those kitties because I swear they multiply like rabbits. Okay, let's see. I'm a responsible goat owner. I should do that. That's a pretty good one. I'll add that to my merch ideas. I actually text my sister who does t-shirts and whatever. I was like, hey, people are asking. She's like, are you serious? They joke. They laugh at me a little bit. And I say, listen, don't laugh because people are actually interested in it. So maybe we should make something. So we'll see. Biodegradable glitter bombs. That reminds me, I had a wedding that I went to, one of my dear friends, and her invitations and then her programs were printed on this paper that had flower seeds like smashed into it, if that makes sense. So when you were done, you could go plant that piece of paper and wildflowers would come up. I think it worked. We've moved since from the house where I would have planted those, but I thought it was really cute. George Foreman named all his children George. Working toward underage goat pregnancy. No, we are preventing underage goat pregnancy because you're not supposed to let them get bred like the first year. So like with our fair being in September, the babies are born generally very early spring. I think they can't be born before January 1st. So you do not want to breed them that following year. You show them as like a junior doe or an intermediate doe. And then the following fair year, you can get your goat bred. So there you go, guys. No teen goat pregnancies. Ryan, if everybody dealt with the property division of the estate like you did with like mixing bowls, casserole dish, me here, I want this, you need that, whatever, it would be wonderful. But you would be surprised how many people nitpick and bicker over the most ridiculous small items. Oh, so many. Oh, Simon, you left early and I didn't even get to say anything to you. I'm gonna go visit the Ratchet. I need to go check out his stuff. I mean, I believe I met him through the Schrodinger's cat memorial. So, and I'm excited that he has a cow. That's pretty cool. I mean, I like all animals pretty much. Yeah, PhDs, those are very expensive. A coffee cup and a t-shirt. I mean, I think those are pretty simple. She should be able to whip up some of those and have an option for people. Yeah, Brigitte, stats was the devil. I even to this day, it gives me nightmares thinking about that stats class. And it was taught by a TA. And no offense, English was not his first language, and he was extremely intelligent, but he had a very hard time articulating it to the rest of us. And so we would all just like stare at each other like, what did he just say? Like, what are we doing? And we tried to form study groups, which just turned into people wanting to copy papers. And like, I don't understand this. I'm going to get to my exam and have no freaking clue how to do this. So for those of you that have stat minds that you can like figure that stuff out, very happy for you, but that's not how my brain works. Oh, Brian, I'm sorry about that. I mean, social workers are in such demand and it's such a high burnout rate that I wish we had more of them. A microbiology PhD. It's crazy. Oh, thanks again, Tom. NASA in space. I mean, it's pretty cool. I'd be like, I want to be an astronaut. for real, there's people that are astronauts, and hey, people, it depends on who you know. Oh, Sherry, I don't want to tease you for your name. I thought you were teasing me, like, because I have sheep. I think it's cool. And I think she spelled hers differently, so maybe you're the original Sherry. All right. Justin, is that your first name? I see. Alfred, thank you for loving it. And see, Dale, I remembered your name, and I got 2 thumbs up for it. All right. Hola, Araceli. Secret Squirrel. They don't believe your name. I mean, you go by Secret Squirrel, so I mean, it could be anything and probably not surprise me. It's the 1-year anniversary of the cat lawyer. I didn't know that. Gosh, seems so far away. Jury nullification. Oh, that's a long topic. Oh, Jill, stop doing dishes. The dishes will still be there in a little while. Yes, I do have your name in the email. See, then I gotta like put 2 and 2 together on some of these. Mary, I'm glad you enjoyed the barn cast. I should come up with a funny name for it, right? Goat cast, barn cast, goat stream. I don't know. Barn stream. Somebody help me out here. I can be creative sometimes. It's been a long day. Porangosa. Hope I said that right. I'm glad you could make it. Archer guitars. Archer guitars. Do you actually play guitars? Do you teach guitar lessons? Harper needs to have some lessons. I mean, Papa's helping her, but I don't know how to play guitar. I always wanted to. And you probably saw some ridiculous faces today. Wait, were we even on the stream today? I don't remember if Judge turned it on or not. Yeah, use of math is tough, man. People have a really hard time stopping. Okay, so Ryan, working in retail, if you don't get information about who's trespassed from the store, then you're really just like, it's a paper that says they're trespass, but unless they're caught doing something wrong and you pull their name, you're not gonna know. Okay. Oh, Mike is live. I'm kind of gonna lose all of you now, but I gotta go to my niece's game anyway. So I'm trying to scroll through the last bit here. Oh, and I don't know why you guys don't have a bell. Some of you don't. Miss Davis, what work do you do for Judge Middleton? I don't do work for Judge Middleton. I do my own homework, right? Like that's when I'm searching on people. If you hear that tap, tap, tap into the keys, you know I'm looking something up, or I'm taking my notes on the hearing because we have to do that. Yes, seed bombs. I think it's a much better idea, Ryan. Okay, have I been studying sheep law? No. I'd let the sheep do their own law. Oh, smiles of Texas, bless your heart for raising that baby. I always think that it's best to have permanency for kids. And if that means maybe going for custody or doing a guardianship or an adoption, then you got to do what's best for that child. No, I don't rent out my sheep. I mean, I guess maybe I would. They like to eat stuff, so. Preventing underage goat pregnancy. Oh, thank you, Calm Cos. Appreciate it. Some days I feel better about myself than others, like everybody probably. No teen goat pregnancy t-shirt. See, I'm liking this, you guys. It's good. Oh, the catalytic converter. Yeah. On Harbor Man. Would he be prosecuted by you if arrested? No, because he's not in our county unless there's like, I guess theoretically, if there was a special prosecutor appointed and it was our county that was picked, it could be me, you know. I wouldn't mind driving to Benton Harbor. Got a nice lake shore. All right. As a former TA, okay, gold nanoparticle, thrown in with little to no training. Yeah, you know, it's just like people that want to coach a sport. It's like, oh, they were a really good athlete. They make a great coach. But that's not really true. It's like you could be a mediocre athlete, but an amazing coach and vice versa. So I don't know. It's really unfair to the TAs if they're getting thrown in without a whole lot of training. All right. Hey, from Michigan. They don't like, well, Jay Sugar. You must have a real name. I'm just saying. Cam. That's funny. All right. Ryan, you got a cool name though, like Black Hawk Down, right? Middleton Withdrawal. Yeah, you guys are gonna have to like just buckle down, find something else to watch for a while. Okay, hey Smitty. Rich, thank you. The sheep are beautiful. Jake, is a prosecutor assigned to a specific judge or Mr. Marcus? We kind of bounce back and forth about how we split up cases and split up judges, and it just kind of depends. And if Dave, Mr. Marvin, is appearing, it's not necessarily due to the severity of the charge. He doesn't do much with the misdemeanors. That's more so like Casey and I. But Dave does handle a lot of the felonies, and so yeah, I guess you could say that if it's a more serious case, he's in there. All right, thanks. Enjoying the game tonight. Yes, I will. Okay, a physics TA, impressive. Never had to take a physics course, thankfully. Nick, excellent. Social worker in Washington County. Yeah, there are a lot of tough cases. Hi, Unclean Hands. I'm surprised you're over here, not on mics. Yes, I hope my niece wins too. So, and TJ is TJ. If you've watched some of these series before, I've known TJ since we were little kids, and he's a hoot. So, all right, my son is calling in, probably wondering where I'm at, because I said, oh, I'm only going to be like a half hour on the live stream, and now we're 51 minutes in. But you know what? It was fun. So, oh, you're bouncing back and forth. I see. Super Bowl, yes, we're having a little get together for Super Bowl. So I don't know who I'm cheering for. Neither of them are like my team. So, but yeah, I like a good game. And honestly, is there a football game going on at the Eminem and Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre concert? Because that's what I heard. And the late 90s, early 2000s, Debbie is pretty excited about that Super Bowl halftime show. So, well, maybe we should have a whole breakdown of the Super Bowl halftime show. I'm going to give you my breakdown of what I thought of it. All right. Well, thank you guys. It's been a lot of fun. I'm going to get out of here and go cheer on the little mini mighty magi. And I will check in with you guys. Oh, don't forget, tomorrow on, oh gosh, what is Terry's channel name? Terry, you're not in here. I think it's called True Crime, Lies and Alibis. I should have memorized this before I said it, but I will make a post on it. But Natalie and I, Natalie Lurchik and I are doing a live stream. We did have to bump it back to 8:30. My fault, because I didn't realize that my sister's team is playing, and it's a team that they got beat by that's ranked in the state. And I promised that I would be there cheering on my sister and my friends' kids. So we're starting a little later tomorrow. So hopefully those of you in different time zones, it'll be helpful for you that we're starting at 8:30 Eastern time. And we'll check you guys all then. So I know Metallica, that would be amazing. Okay, so everybody think of before a Monday or maybe Tuesday, I gotta look at my schedule, live stream, who you would want for the next Super Bowl halftime show. And then we'll talk about, that will lead into my Super Bowl 2007 story about getting roofied at the Super Bowl and watching the Bears get beat and freezing in the rain in Miami. So it'll be a fun story. All right, guys, talk to you all soon. See ya.